what we often see is that startups are really pressured to show quick results. And, it's one of those things where you start to balance short-term wins versus long-term results and that value creation. So what are some examples of where you recommend playing the long game versus the short game, and some mistakes that you've seen there and trade-offs between, I'm going to take that customer that might not be a great fit versus, no, I'm going to say no because it doesn't fit in with the long-term vision.
Yeah, I agree. That happens a lot. Every now and again, there's a customer that's willing to pay something, but it may not line up very well with what other customers want, and could potentially takes a company in a direction that they don't want to go in long term, right? And so I think but it's hard, right? Because if you're a startup, like you're lean, like by nature, like you just don't have a lot of money, and the idea of a paying customer is really attractive. Like it's money in the door, it's a logo you can say you have. There's all those type of things. But to your point, Liz, like there are good customers, and there are actually pretty bad customers, and there's some really famous examples of well-known companies that love to work with startups because they can become their personal dev shops, and then they can monopolize their roadmap, and that's strategic for them, but it's not great for the startup potentially long term, right? Because you can't take on as many customers, and you're not as useful to the market. But yeah, so I think like that definitely does happen. I'd say like the focus on the ICP is really key. Again, it's like, hey, who are we trying to solve a problem for, and how are we trying to solve it? Like what's a repeatable use case that we can go after? I think ultimately that's what like the next round of investor wants to see. They want to see repeatability, that your ICP, you can describe your ICP, that you have customers that look like that ICP, and that you, as a founder, you've started to train other people in your company besides you to sell it successfully. So can you bring on an account executive that can also close a deal, or an SDR that can set a meeting based on the parameters that you've set? Like once you start to do that, then you look like an investable company that if an investor can inject more cash into, that you should be able to take that cash and hire more salespeople and build more product and things like that. So I would definitely say like it's a temptation, but with discipline, you should be able to say no to a few customers.